on, guys? Welcome back to Great Fire Podcast. I'm your host, Trey Bate, a.k.a. Trey Bate Knows Boxing.
And this is Willie Mack.
All right, guys. So, I have a question for you guys. We're going to get straight to it. If you cannot read out loud, right? You guys, let's get involved. Write your answers or write your idea of what I'm about to say in the comment section. If you can't read out loud, can you read? If you can't read out loud, can you read? What do you think about that?
Wow, we been with people in school that could not read, and we wanted them to read the menu out loud to us, and it didn't turn out well. He had a little special class. It's okay, but if you cannot read out loud, then that means you just have a hard time with your grammar and reading comprehension. Even if you're over 20, you might be embarrassed. If you can't read, you can't read, man.
Nah, honestly, if you cannot read, the thing about it, it's the internet. There's many ways of learning how to read. A lot of people, I could say this, in today's world, a lot of people can't spell anymore due to text or whatnot.
That's so true.
People kind of abbreviating what's already abbreviated.
Not try to cut you off, but I think somebody asked me to spell something like a simple word, chauffeur. And man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man. I'm a pretty good reader, but you threw a word out there that I don't really use. So to spell chauffeur, my dumb self would say, and I'm gonna be real, I'll say something really stupid like SHOW fur, chauffeur. Man, the way you spell chauffeur. But there's a lot of people like that because he's right. We use text message, we use a little slide on our phones, we use spell check. Spell check is our best friend. Sometimes our biggest enemy, but it can be our best friend. And we rely on that so much, we done forgot how to read. That's crazy.
Speaking of definitely, speaking of text, the word definitely, I don't know if you guys type it in your phone, but I know about iPhones. When you type it in, I type it in either way, with the A towards the end or with the E, or it's the. So if, let's say you were to spell it out, definitely DEFINATELY, right?
I think that's wrong, dog.
Definite. Oh wait, listen, I can't quite think about it right now. But there's a version with the E and there's a version with the A. But I don't know why every time I write the version with the E, it presents the A.
That's kind of
like as an alternative, way of actually, writing down definitely. Yeah. Then whenever I write it with the A, or A towards the end, of course, it switches it up to the E. So it's kind of, I don't know. You guys help me out with that because I'm not I can't read. I can't.
Look, don't find it. Me too. Don't trip because I can't spell chauffeur. So.
All right. So something. Let's talk about what happened to me. Not really what happened to me, but let's talk about something that occurred a couple of days ago. I'm not going to say where, but I met somebody, a very gorgeous, gorgeous woman. We had a great conversation. We exchanged numbers. But you guys chime in on this and tell me if this has ever happened to you. This has never happened to me. But I'm so dedicated to my craft and to what I'm doing and to where I'm going right now that in my mind, I didn't even want to contact her to even start anything because I didn't want to be distracted. I don't know if that's ever happened. Maybe I'm not wording it correctly, but in a sense, for the first time, I noticed, I guess, how dedicated I am. And I guess there was let's call it a fear for lack of better words. There was a fear just naturally in my mind, not like a big fear, like I'm, afraid or anything, but there was a thought in my mind that occurred to where I just thought about, I guess, if I had to choose one or the other, which one would I choose? Or I don't know. I don't know if I'm wording this out correctly, but
if you had something to pursue, if there's two opportunities on the table with your craft and then this new chick that pulled up, and if you had to choose which one you want to go hard at, that's what you're coming up with.
So in a sense, I felt like I didn't want to be distracted by anything when it comes. Because the thing is, the conversation that we had, the way that we connected, it seemed like it could be something that could go further later on down the line. But of course, when you just meet somebody, you don't know that. But I'm just saying, like, I noticed certain things. But funny thing is, literally the next day, my parents, just like, like we had like a random conversation, talked to them, and they were asking me about marriage. And the thing is, my parents are very cultural, Nigerians, of course. So by now, at 31, supposed to be married with 4 kids.
Damn.
But it's just a cultural thing. It's all about carrying on a family name and just creating a family. Creating a new generation. For me, what I told them was, just as far as marriage, just the thought of marriage is not on my mind at all. It's just not. And I told them, like, I just want to be successful. I want to be successful. I mean, as far as kids right now, I got nieces and nephews.
That's all you need.
I mean, for me, that's all I need. That temporary fatherhood, which it's really nice. Like, I actually spent like the whole day with both my nieces, a couple of days ago. And I mean, it's amazing how smart children are today.
Crazy.
I don't know if it's those iPads or whatever that they look at, maybe the cell phones. Could be the radiation there. I don't know. But they're smart. They're brilliant. Kids are brilliant. But I mean, as far as like the whole marriage thing, it's just something that I would have never thought that at this age I would have been very clear on. I just want to pursue my dreams. I really, really do. I don't know if that's being selfish. You guys tell me, is that being selfish? Is that being selfish? Let me know.
Man.
No, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was saying, I was going to piggyback off you. I mean, I feel the same way, man. I mean, I don't really start thinking about my career till maybe a year or two ago, when some life changes happen. So during my 20s, I just had fun, worked for fun, made a little money, but I wasn't really working towards my career. I was just making money so I could go out, buy whatever I want. Now, at this point in my life, I'm trying to figure out, what career I'm trying to settle into. And this goes back to the episode, I think, 2 or 3, where we were talking about being distracted, having a distraction and pretty much putting something on hold because of that distraction. So marriage it's not just a distraction, it's a life change. So I'm not sure if I'm ready for that change right now,
I mean, it's an investment. It's an investment. It's a business contract. It's anything and everything that you could ever think of. And I mean, it kind of relates to, another subject that we talked about as far as, 30 being the new 25. Back in the day, 25 was when, I guess, man, I don't want to say that men don't take things serious, but as far as just like, I'll just say this, our experiences develop us in a sense. So the things that we experienced throughout our 20s, it helped develop who we are today. When some of those things would have occurred maybe in the early 20s of most people in the past, let's say like in the 90s. I mean, the thing about it is, what was I about to say? Lost track of thought. What were we talking about?
We were talking about that 20.
Oh, yeah. So the 30 being the new 25. I mean, this is a time where we, start to take life a lot more serious. And we're a lot more focused and we're a lot more sure of what we want in life. So I'm so sure of what I want that I don't want any distractions. I just don't. Like, I know what has distracted me in the past, and I know what could distract me now. Even though I'll say this, I think I'm a lot mentally stronger than what I was before. But, and I have different interests now. So, I mean, overall, man, yeah, I would, when it comes down to that, or when it comes down to that situation, it was a fairly unique situation because it was just new. Like, normally I would just, I'll go straight after that. But this time, the first thing that came to mind, it was just like, you know what, you might not want to. That's why it must have been something about that. Who knows? Because, I mean, there's never, I meet people all the time. But something like that has never occurred. That's why it was a fairly unique situation. I'm just like, automatically I just told myself, worry about yourself right now. Try not to get involved in anything. Plus it's Christmas, somebody, she might want a gift.
You be Santa Claus, And that's crazy. And speaking of parents, my dad just called me like right before this show, and he was telling me that his buddy, one of his neighbors, Joe, I guess he met a new female or whatever, and he was just asking me, "Hey, son, you want to go on a double date with Joe?" I'm like, "No, man. Like, I just got out of a situation early in the year. Like, I don't jump to relationships, man. You're like, man, there you go again. There you go again. Not being aggressive, being shy. I'm like, look, brother, your time in the 70s and 80s, it was easy. It was clockwork.
That is true.
You know what I'm saying? This is 2017, 2018, dude. This ain't the same women that you dated 30 plus years ago.
You know what's so crazy? That's the same thing that I told my parents. And the thing is, they were like, what is this dude talking about? I said, it's not, the world is not the same as it was when you guys came together. It's just not. People are different. Mm-hmm. Everything is different. There's cell phones now. Mm-hmm. There's social media. It's just, things are just different. So as far as, what worked for you guys, it just won't work for us. It just won't. Speaking of things not working, question: as far as keeping up with your with your exes, would you say that that's okay? Is it okay to keep up with your exes? Exes.
Exes, meaning one or a dozen.
However many.
Hey,
I think you can answer this best.
I'm gonna answer this one. You know what? I've been ridiculed by a lot of people, but I've been applauded by a lot of people for keeping up with some of my exes. Going back to the previous show, I think I mentioned I've only had like maybe 3 or 4 ex-girlfriends, but I've dated a few. I dated a lot of girls. If you want to count those,
you've been out there.
I'm a thought. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not a thought.
Been out there on the street.
I just like to date. But I mean, okay. Here's the deal. My breakups end very, very bad. I probably got cursed out more than I don't know. So I'd take a 1-year hiatus until someone makes the call. More than likely, the ladies will make the call first. And I'll pick up my phone, see what's going on. I think my recent ex-girlfriend wished me a happy birthday. And, I could have been petty, be like, oh, I didn't read it. But I hit her up and I was like, hey, thank you very much. I haven't talked to her since. But other females, like my very first girl when I was 19 years old, we still cool. We don't talk a lot, but we still cool. Sometimes time does heal, but certain situations, time may not be enough. And them situations can be more than cheating. It could have been a thief, stealing or vandalism or setting you up to go to jail. Some weird stuff that you just cannot forgive.
Today's world, yeah.
People will set you up, man. It's really bad. I mean, we talked about the David Otunga, Jennifer Hudson situation. I don't know if they could be friends after what I read to you guys last week. I mean, damn, that's some crazy stuff right there. What do you think about that question you just asked?
I mean, you already know. I mean, for me, I'm not friends with any of them, with any of my exes. But the reason is, if you were to see them now and what they're doing now, it's just our lifestyles are just not compatible. Okay. I'll just say that. They came around at a time where I guess the universe made that situation happen for a reason, both for them to learn and for me to learn. I guess maybe we, as far as a learning path, we took 2 different directions. That's just what it is. So as far as me connected with them, I mean, we have nothing in common. Nothing in common. There's some that, we would be okay or cool if we were to see each other again, but there's a...
So you never ever going to make the call again, like, hey, babe, wonder how you doing?
Nah,
I wouldn't do it either. I'm just saying, I'm starting
because if I were to, I know that it'd only be for one thing, It wouldn't be for anything else besides that, and that's not too cool because I know what type of, I know what's going to happen after that. It's going to create a situation to where one person is uncomfortable because another person is not quite interested in doing what that person wants. So, nah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I I can't be buddy either. But if you hit me once in a blue moon, I'm not going to like ignore your call or. I might even hit you and say happy birthday. I mean, I kind of forgot to wish my last ex-girlfriend happy birthday. My bad. So if you're in the show, happy birthday.
Oh, my God.
He going to hate that, but
man.
But I can't be friends right now because I'm still, going through my own thing. So, right, twinkle, twinkle, little stars. But, hey, that's a tough one.
So speaking of, since we're kind of along the same line, you had a situation, or you have of somebody who actually waited in this generation or at this time in the world in 2017. Of people who waited to have sex after they got married, which is kind of it's a very, very rare, that's a rare situation.
Rare.
So as far as, what do you guys think about that? As far as having sex before marriage, right? Is it possible, or let's say if you guys can go back, would you guys have waited for some of you guys who are maybe married now or who were married? If you could go back in time, would you have waited to have sex until you got married? I think that's a pretty good question.
That's a deep question. That's for all audiences, from black to white to Hispanics to anybody, because you know, a lot of people have their own beliefs, their own morals, or, you know, for me, I can't answer that. I've already lost my virginity.
I'll say, I'll say this it's funny, just with the mindset that I had before, I think it would have been maybe impossible. But the way that things are now, like I said, it's hard. I keep repeating it, but it's hard for me to explain the way that my mind moves now. I'm extremely focused. So now I think it's possible.
Do you think you could wait? Do you think that if you meet a female and she says she don't want to have no sexual activity like that, but she want to wait till she get married, you think you could wait? And it could be years from now, like 10, 5 years from now.
Listen.
But then again, 10 years and you still girlfriend, boyfriend, hey, I don't know about that, man.
Damn, that's a good question. I would say it all depends on the person. Like, you can't tell me that you don't want to have sex until you're married, but you're out there being a rat. That's not gonna that makes no sense whatsoever. You know, you might as well just go out and have fun. But for me, it's possible. I'll say this. I think that for me, it'd have to be a situation to where we have already done it before. We've already been intimate before. So let's say a scenario. This is, to me, an acceptable scenario. Let's say if we're about to get married. Of course, it's somebody that you're with already. You've already been intimate with them. Let's say that there's a month. It's a month before you guys get married. Literally a month. So let's say if you guys, I guess, not necessarily challenge each other, but when it's, I guess, savor that what's the word? Savor that craving for each other until the honeymoon.
Right.
For a month or whatnot, if just no sex for a month until the wedding night or until the honeymoon. I think that's pretty good. I mean, because as far as energy is concerned, that'd be a great way to kind of, bring things together, the right way. I think that's acceptable. That's a good thing because, it's mutual.
Yeah.
It's not one person being weird or being suspicious and, doing one thing or another, which you've had, situations.
Weirdo.
To where everything was all good, and then all of a sudden, God, quote, God told her that she should calm down on her
sexual activities.
Yeah, she should slow her hips down.
I like that one. Slow your hips down, baby.
Yeah, but that's pretty crazy. How that worked out.
It is crazy.
I mean,
what I did. Okay. Yeah, I'm with you on that 100%. If the girl really got her head straight, she's a career woman. I mean, she's everything I've ever wanted. You know what I mean? And I'm everything that she wanted. If the time where she says we need to wait until we get married, I mean, that's somewhat, I'll respect that. And I actually will appreciate that because she want to make sure I'm the right one. I mean, I would feel uncomfortable if a girl gave me their panties 2 days after I met them. Yeah. Nowadays, so at 20, if you didn't go past the first week without getting something must be wrong with you.
Yeah.
Which was me. But now it's like, if I meet a girl tonight and she said, do you want to, that's definitely not a keeper because how many guys she might have done that to during her timeline,
A couple of hundred, maybe.
Hundreds. She's a whore
bag. Which is insane, but, I mean, the thing is, in today's world, I would say maybe 90% of people will say, no way. Then again, I mean, it all depends on what generation you come from. It all depends on your background. It's a lot of different aspects to that. But for me, you know, I definitely come from a cultural background. My parents been married for almost 40 years, I'll say. Yeah, almost 40 years. So with that, you know, with me seeing that, you know, all my life, companionship is something that, you know, or monogamy is something that it's been prevalent throughout my whole life. It's something I've seen everywhere, all the time. So when it comes down to that, I'll just say this: it all depends on the situation. It all depends on the situation. That's a fairly unique situation, but it's something that we would have to, think about. It'd have to be in front of me in order for me to, you know, be able to break that down.
Yeah, and if he could do that in today's world, hey, you get a round of applause. Why? Because the pressure of, you got social media. We always talk about social media. The pressure of your friends going out for a quote-unquote girls' night. And if you're a female, guys going out on a quote-unquote guys' night, which could end any kind of way. Little quote-unquote business trips, you know. So if you're able to sustain that promise to each other until the marriage happens, I mean, real talk, that's a round of applause, because you don't see that in today's world. I mean, his parents, he just mentioned, been married for 40 years. My sister, my brother-in-law, been married for 13 years, I think, right after I graduated from high school, 2004. So, and then my dad and his lady been together since, man, I don't know what. So, that's really deep if you could do that in today's world, because there's a lot more distractions, there's so many influences and factors out there that could trigger any kind of inconsistent situation in your relationship. So
that's true.
You know, it's deep if you could do that, man. I applaud you. I hope to find that one day myself, but who knows? I'll leave it in the good Lord's hands. We'll see. I can't call it.
So now, Will, how is your fitness journey? How is that going? What are the new updates of everything?
Man, I be eating 7-Eleven Slurpees. Nah, I was kidding. Nah. Nah, jokes aside. Okay, so I've been telling Trey Bate that I started this new program, Intermittent Fasting. I'm not sure if most of you guys are familiar with that. I started learning about it because, well, hey, I want to get prepared for our trip that's coming up possibly next year in March. So I knew I needed to hop back into like shredded shape. And the regular whole diet for me, the 5 meals a day, that's cool. But I started reading something on YouTube about intermittent fasting, and I learned a lot. So to answer your question, how's that going? The first few days been tough. Why? Because intermittent fasting pretty much means you have to probably eat maybe 2 or 3 times a day. Me, I'm only eating 2 times a day. And the rest of the days, I'm either drinking water, coffee, green tea, or sparkling water. And pretty much, let's say if I eat at 8 o'clock, I cannot eat again until the next day at 1 p.m. So, it makes you feel light at first. I started this last week, and real talk, I'm already starting to see a 6-pack. And around January, I might, hey, you know what? I might be on YouTube. I might take a shirt off or 2 on the trip. I don't know. But it's really, really, really working out. The only hard part is turning down the dessert. A burger. It's very, very hard. But it goes back to, our mindset. If you put your mind into something, man, you could accomplish it. And I'm one of the guys that don't really bend too often. If I say I'm going to do something, I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
So I mentioned on the first show, I'm going to get my ass back in shape. It's episode number 7, and I'm already killing it. And I really feel like that a month from today, which is today is December 1st, January 1st, New Year's Day, I feel like I will be ripped the way I want to be ripped, but it's difficult. So,
I mean, the consistency is everything.
It really is.
That's what it is. So, let's say, to hop on what he was talking about, think about intermittent fasting. You just create a window in which you don't eat and the window in which you do eat. That's pretty much what it is.
That's what it is, yeah.
You just allow the body to digest within that window. So let's say within that window, you can have, I'm not recommending this, but I'm saying for certain people like who are advanced, you can actually have a burger, like 2 patties, like a double cheeseburger within that window. But let's say towards the end of that window, you can like fill yourself up with a whole bunch of nutritious foods, but it's all about how the calories and protein balance itself out.
Yeah.
Not just calories and protein, but, nutrients, everything. So it's just allowing your body to even digest that burger properly. You want to make sure that you get a grass-fed beef burger or something like that. Quality beef, if anything. You don't want to go to Jack in the Box because it's not necessarily the same beef. In this way that it will process in your body, it'll start to decay before it even processes. You think about it. So that's not good at all. No, but I mean, it's a window in which you can eat, and then you create a window for your body to digest the food properly. Consider sleep as well.
Big time.
That's the thing about it. Consider sleep within that window in which you're not eating, because that does help. And the sleeping, your body doesn't digest the food. Let's say as you're sleeping, your body's going to be processing those nutrients and dispersing it in the right areas, in a sense. Sending it where it needs to go. So, and especially if you're working out consistently, then you're eating right, eating on time, getting the right nutrients in. That's when you start to see the results almost immediately, because the nutrients start to take effect immediately. So you see increasing your metabolism. You, like you mentioned before, you feel a little bit, or you feel a lot lighter, as a matter of fact. Sometimes you just have a surge of energy. You can actually work out. You don't have any issues. Like, I remember even before I actually started intermittent fasting, there's times where I wouldn't eat in the morning and I would feel sick, especially if I went on a run or went over to the stairs, worked out anything. But now it's like I could literally work out 3 hours, 3.5 hours straight, and I won't have any issues of nausea or anything, because the food that's in my body, or that was in my body, let's say the night before, because I typically work out in the morning, unless I'm doing a 2 a day. The food that I had the night before is not still processing, but the nutrients are still there. Yeah, it's being dispersed properly. So I have the fuel to do what I need to do. And then after that, that's when I refuel myself within that window, and then allow my body to rest and digest again. So that's super, super duper important.
Yeah, man. Because lately, I mean, I'm sleepy, but that's because I'm not sleeping well. But body wise, I feel good. I mean, I could run, and I've only eaten once. Like today, I had like 3 steaks and like green salad and a rice cake. Like right now I'm hungry, but I'm not thinking about food, and that's what the intermittent fasting do. It doesn't really make you think about food.
Yeah.
It lowers your glucose, your insulin, right?
Your insulin, there you go.
You lowers your insulin, which allows more growth hormones to be produced in your body, which is going to trigger more results in a lot faster pace. So
that's very true.
I'm looking forward to, like I said, I learned a lot of this from YouTube, man. If you want different kind of fitness ways, like I said, basic stuff is basic. You can always change it the way you want. As long as your body can accept it, hey, go for it.
It's funny how, like, the first thing that you notice is the aesthetics of your body. You notice your body physically. You look in the mirror and you see the changes occurring literally daily, each and every day. For me, like you mentioned, the first area was the core, or was the abs, or the torso. So everything started to change there. That's when I noticed, okay, this stuff is really working. Continued it. I've been doing it for, just about 7 months. Yeah, 7 months in total. And I mean, there's certain days, like I mentioned before, there's certain days where, depending on what I'm doing, I will have, I won't do it for that day, depending on what situation it is. But that hasn't been for a while. Let's say if I'm doing something extreme, like working out, waking up at 4 a.m. or something like that, typically I'll have something to eat just to keep my mind going. I just don't want to fall off and not know what the hell I'm saying or doing. But I'll definitely recommend that. There's another thing, which I'll be able to talk about in more detail, because I want to have the information before I displayed. But a buddy of mine, Eddie, you guys can actually visit his page at Eddie_BNB, one of the trainers that I train with, or that works alongside us. He's been looking up some stuff about potatoes, like literally eating potatoes for like 3 or 4 days. And there's a whole process. I mean, you guys definitely go check his page out, because he can explain it a lot better than I can. That's a fact. But we even talked about it today, about, the effects of it, and, just about, the way that he cooks the potatoes, it's starch resistant. So it's the way that the body reacts to that. Some really, really deep stuff. I want to go into more detail, but I don't want to be incorrect about it. You guys feel free to, have feel free to involve your input on this. If you guys have any knowledge about this, because it'll definitely be helpful.
Exactly. Like if you guys want me, like, let's say, if I need to adjust something during my fasting, like, hey man, you should add this to your diet. Maybe, let me know. Hit us up on the comments, man. I definitely, like I said, one thing I do love to do is learn something new. So definitely throw in your input. I could use it for myself. And like I said, it's only my 4th day. So like I already feel good on my 4th day. Imagine 3 or 4 weeks from now, man, I'll be like a success story. Hey, look at me. So really good stuff right there, man. Something I picked up on, and you'll pick up on something too. So just work on it.
So guys, we're going to leave you guys with the quote of the day. You guys get involved, all right? Write make sure that you comment in the comment section. So, what do you guys think about this? If we can't do business, we can't be friends. That's the quote of today, or the quote of this show. If we can't do business, we can't be friends. What does that mean to you guys? What does that mean? Make sure you enter your ideas or your statements, or enter in the comment section. Make sure that you guys get involved. Let's talk about this. What does that mean to you? If we cannot do business, we can't do friends. We can't do business, we can't be friends. What does that mean to you guys? So, guys, this has been another episode of Great Fire Podcast with the host, Trey Bate. This has been another episode of Great Fire Podcast with your host, Trey Bate, aka Trey Bate Knows Boxing.
And of course, this is Willie Mack.
You guys, get ready for episode number 8.
The Great 8.